It is officially coffee hour time. Monday, December 21st. Apparently we've got a pretty cool astronomical event happening tonight. Looks like the Christmas star, Jupiter and Saturn, if I remember right, will be very, very close together in the sky just after sunset to the west-southwest, if you get a chance to look. That'll be a great way, I think, to end 2020, although it's not the end of 2020 yet. So good to see you guys. Lots of stuff going on. Obviously, this is our last time together before Christmas time. So that'll be kind of, kind of nice to, and think how far we've come this year. We started this back in, I think, early April, late March. I want to say it was early April, when we thought that it would be a couple weeks, and here we are in December already, and we're still, not that this is a bad thing, not doing a coffee hour is a bad thing, but it kind of morphed into something. So let me catch up. Dennis Peterson, Rock, Craig. Hi, Craig. Says the sound is good. Thank you. Dan Delmagalski, Jeff Morrow. Corey says his wife is better, but now he's sick. Paige, our good friend Paige Brousseau. I've known Paige for, I'm going to say, close to 30 years, if not longer. He's been a good friend of mine, good friend of the fishing community. Sent me a text, I want to say Tuesday of last week. Might have been Tuesday. That his wife had an aneurysm, and she was in the hospital and wasn't going to come home. And Paige is here this morning. Paige, we love you. We're praying for you. I don't know how to say sorry enough, but just know that your friends here, that we care about you. I love you as a friend, and we're all praying that you can find some peace from this terrible tragedy. So 2020 has been a year that I can't wait to forget. I can't wait to forget. So, but today, what I want to talk about, I want to kind of wrap up the year. Next week, I've got some ideas about, kind of looking forward for next Monday. This Monday, you're welcome, Craigie. This Monday, what I want to do is, today, I want to talk about, Alan Young says, oh, Jesus. He said his mom went home to be with the Lord last Thursday. She was 94. Oh, Alan, and the same thing, buddy. We love you so much, and I don't know. I just don't know what to say anymore. So, all of you who've had a tough time this year, lost loved ones, you've been sick, you've watched your business suffer, whatever the case may be, just know that we pray for you every day. I pray for this whole group every day. By name when I know who that name is, as a group when I don't know. And you're loved here. Not just because you're a fisherman or because you're part of what we do. You're just loved here. And I hope you know that, and I hope you feel that. So, All right. So today, 2020. What I want to discuss? I want to talk about what's the one thing that you're going to take away from 2020 in a fishing sense. What's the one thing you learned? Maybe the one thing you did. Maybe you crossed something off your bucket list. How is 2020 going to stand out? If you had to kind of wrap up 2020 fishing-wise in a word or a couple sentences or an event or something that happened, how would you wrap up your 2020 fishing-wise? That would be my question. So that's our topic for today. How would you wrap up 2020 fishing-wise? Again, something you learned, maybe a place you went, maybe a fishing trip that was kind of special. How would you wrap up? How are you going to remember? If you had to take a snapshot of 2020 around fishing, what would that snapshot look like? That's kind of our topic today. So before I do that, as you guys are kind of replying to that, I'm going to kind of go on here. We put a link up, I think it was up yesterday. We shared it to a bunch of pages. The Foundation Series seminars are 8 steps, 5 Ps, pattern fishing, bait fish, evolution of an angler. What we consider our foundation. The things that you need to know to become a better angler. And most importantly, guys, especially you new guys, that Foundation Series, those 5 seminars are the seminars you need to watch to understand everything that we teach from there forward. So as we go into 2021, we got some great things planned. We got some cool things planned for the Teaching Fishing Anglers Club. I talked to Ali the other day. We got some really cool things coming. We got some great seminars. January, February, March is going to be a deep dig into some topics that we don't normally talk about because they are pretty advanced. But you're going to need that foundation, that 8 steps, how it works, what it is, the 5 Ps, the pattern fishing, the bait fish, and the evolution of an angler. If you have those, if you watch those, and they're all set up as a playlist, and I'll post it again today, at the end of the coffee hour today, I'll post it. If you watch those 5 seminars, you're going to have a much better opportunity to learn, understand, and apply what we're going to teach you in 2021. So please go watch those Foundation Series. Share them with your friends, especially guys who are new to angling, who maybe have been in your boat and you've driven around with your sonar until you find fish, because that's kind of how you've learned how that works now. And they were like, when are we going to go fishing? When are we going to go fishing? Send them that playlist. Let them watch those 5 seminars and kind of understand what's going on. So that's available. I'm going to talk about what's going on at the store here in just a second. But that Foundation Series is a big deal. And again, we need subscribers. So look, if you're new to YouTube, you may be sitting here going, hey, I already bought a subscription. I applied to Teaching Fishing Anglers Club. I already paid for that. I'm not going to subscribe to YouTube. YouTube is a completely different thing. It costs you nothing. You're not going to get anything. All a subscription, when you go over to the Teaching Fishing YouTube channel, when you click subscribe, all it does is it lets you into some parts of YouTube channel that you can't get to if you're not a subscriber. And then ring the bell. So you'll see a little bell come up, ring that. What that does is that gives you a notification every time we post a new video. And the plan is our Tuesday stuff to be premieres, to be on YouTube, so we can have a little chat with it. So get over to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, cost you nothing. It's nothing extra. You're not going to get anything. It's just lets them know that you like Lance's page, and then ring the bell when you're there, and it'll notify you what's going on. That's a big deal. Fish hawks. If you guys ordered fish hawks for Christmas, I haven't sent you invoices yet because they're probably not going to ship until the 3rd week of January. They're way behind on getting parts to make probes. I talked to them the other day. I've got like 9 guys that want them. And I talked to them the other day. When I went to order them, they were out of stock, the X2s. So I called down there. They're out of two of the small parts to make probes. They got them in. They're going to be shipping X2s 3rd week, 4th week of January. So if you place an order with me, I placed an order with Fishhawk. It's there. You will not get an invoice from me until I get a notification from Fishhawk that your unit has shipped. So I don't want to bill you for something that you don't have. especially at the, those are pretty pricey items. I don't want to bill you for something that you don't have. So Fishhawk X2, guys, all you ask, you're all set. I've got them all ordered. I just will not send you an invoice until I know from them that they have shipped. Okay? All right, that's a little bit of housekeeping. So let's go on to a fishing snapshot of 2020. I saw some good stuff here. Jim Bishop says he needs to get better on speed control. Save that for next week, Jim. I want to know some of your goals for 2021. I think Arlo and Randy hit it pretty good. Arlo says 2020 he's taking every fishing trip as it might be his last one. I think that's a big deal. I think that's something that this year, if anything, has taught us. When's the next time you're going to be able to be with your friends? When's the next time you're going to be able to go to insert event here? Who would have thought? When's the next time you're going to be able to go out to dinner and sit down and have a cup of coffee with a friend? So Arlo, I think, hits it right. Take every fishing trip like it could be your last one, because who the hell knows anymore. Randy Sells, I like this, Randy. He says, prior to 2020, fishing was a hobby. In 2020, fishing became therapy. Boy, how was that for so many people, right? Myself included, all of this stuff, building the home studio, coffee hour, our Catch Bible study, everything fishing related kind of became not something that we like to do. It actually became something that we have to do to stay sane. That was great. That's a good. I'll tell you what, I think you can wrap 2020 up in that right there. Johnny says reinforcing the 8 steps. I hope that's important. John says number 2, learning lead core. 2 good things there, Johnny. I like it. Corey says I started watching Foundation and fell asleep and woke to Purdue online graduation. So you should have gotten some watch hours. So, Corey, I hope you didn't fall asleep because you were bored. That's okay. If you're going to fall asleep, leave it on autoplay and watch all of our videos. We need the watch hours. Corey says, my takeaway isn't very positive, so I don't know if it should be shared. Yeah, 2020 has been a tough year for a lot of us, right? Corey was excited about maybe coming back to Michigan. That fell through. His wife has had COVID the last couple of weeks. Now he's really sick. Try to find some joy in 2020. I know that's hard to say because people have been saying it to me, and I'm like, stop. But that's important. I think if we do nothing else every Monday morning, hopefully we give you a little smile and just a place to feel good for an hour on Monday morning to get your day started. I know we can't change the world. We can't fix a lot of the problems, but away we go. John Sazalka, here's our bad joke. What does a sardine call a submarine? A can of people. Oh, geez. Jeff says, thanks for the fish hawk update. Yeah, I would have loved to have got those all out, but unfortunately they don't have any, so we'll hold off. Like I said, I've got them ordered. I got all the orders in. But you guys won't. I'm not going to invoice you guys until we see a ship from them. All right, Lee Gould. Hi, Lee. He says, with the COVID restrictions and social distancing stuff, I started fishing solo and got more comfortable fishing solo, learning to do everything smoothly from launching to netting and everything in between. Obviously, it's nice fishing with friends when that opportunity isn't available. Solo trips work just as well. I think a lot of guys went solo. My thing about solo, let somebody know that you're gone so they know, when you should be back, and wear your life jacket. There you go. Ray Smith, good point. 2020 has taught me how much to appreciate what I have and what I have taken for granted for so long. Looking forward to 2021. Phil says 2020. Hey, Philly had got a new baby this year, so 2020 has been a big deal for him. 2020 was actually the best year fishing I've ever had, even though I missed the entire summer and most of the fall with the new baby. I think a lot of that was because this was the first time I've had more than 3 people that I could talk fishing with. That is the beauty of the group. So good, Philly, and glad you've got that new baby. It's funny, we have all this stuff going on. A lot of us kind of get caught up in our own troubles, and God just keeps on trucking. Phil has a new baby, new life, new start. The world just keeps on turning. So that's an amazing, amazing thing. Dave Somm says, weekend in Huron was his highlight. Awesome. Knowledge, practice, and new friendships are invaluable. That's awesome. Thank you, David. Tell you what, that was, if I had to pick a highlight for me, that would definitely be it too, was being able to do the Ohio trip. I don't know if I could have made it much further through the year if that would have been canceled. I needed to be with folks. I needed to be in that environment. I needed to be able to teach again. Live. I need to be able to, have some interaction. I needed that. I don't know. As grumpy as I am right now, I don't know if I would have been. I would have been a lot more grumpy if I wouldn't have been able to do the Ohio trip. So that was my highlight too. Dan Demagalski, as a lifelong angler but a new member to Teaching Fishing Group, in 2020 I learned to be a smarter angler. That's nice. The seminars and discussions have either reinforced or taught me to be a better fisherman. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. John says his fishing snapshots. I canned more fish than I ever thought I could in preparation for an apocalypse. Well, you might be eating that fish before too long. Jeff Lanthier, 2020 and Coffee Hour has taught me how important collecting data is and becoming a better fisherman. That's good. Our good friend John Sullivan from Lure Lipstick, it was good to see him at Shanty Days, up and moving and running around and doing his thing. He said he got his health back to be able to go fishing. Amen to that, John. So good to see you and see the spring in your step, and just the good old John was back. Good guy. If you guys don't know John from Lure Lipstick, look him up when we get a chance to get to his show. Just say hi. He's one of the good people in our business. One of the reasons I love our business so much is because the quality of people. And like Roy Miller, if you really want to look at it, John Sullivan at Lure Lipstick is a competitor of mine, as is Roy Miller at Fat Boy Jigs. But these guys are just good quality people, and they we look out for each other. Look at John wants to do well with what he sells. Roy wants to do well with what he sells. I obviously want to do well with what I sell. I know John promotes my product. I promote John's product, the Lure Lipstick stuff. I promote Roy's brand, Fat Boy Jigs. I know Roy has sent guys over to me to buy some river jigs and buy some other stuff, stinger hooks specifically. I know John promotes what we do at Teaching Fishing. We can all sell the same thing in different ways, but that doesn't mean we have to have animosity and negative towards each other. And that's what I like about this business. There are some people in this business that are that way. There's a lot more that aren't. And those two guys I mentioned, because they're in the jig and plastics business, right? Roy and John, I'm glad to call them friends. I'm glad they're competitors because they keep me on my toes too. So I appreciate everything that they do, both personally and with their companies. They do it right. They do it right. And that's all I want people to do it right. So Johnny, glad to see you're back. Good to see you at Shanty Days. Rock says, I learned how much I need to learn. It's not my old cane pull anymore. That's funny. Talking to Dean Cushman years and years ago when he started coming to the Gander Mountain seminars, when he started to become a good friend and kind of got into, started thinking about guiding and doing some things, I really saw Dean, Dean's learning curve went straight up. And I kind of talked to him about the seminars. I said, what was what was kind of the clicking point of the seminars for you? And his answer was, I didn't know what I didn't know. until I came to the seminars. And then I realized what I didn't know and was able to learn. So I think that's a big point. I hope when you listen to a seminar or something we do, either live or on YouTube, I hope you go, man, I didn't know that. And don't be embarrassed that you didn't know it, even if it's something really simple. Because if you don't know what you don't know, you can't work on learning what you need to know. So learning what you don't know is a big deal. It's a very, very important part of it. And that's why you'll notice when we do a seminar, we almost always go back to the basics to start. The first couple minutes of the seminar are always back to the 8 steps. They're always back to the basics, because I want someone, maybe it's the first seminar they've ever seen, and we may talk about something, we may talk about using planer boards the right way, but we always start with the 8 steps. I want them to go, what in the heck are those 8 steps? Because that's what I want them to learn. Because the other things we teach really don't mean a lot unless you understand the 8 steps. So you got to know what you don't know. That's good, Rock. I appreciate that. Jim says, wow, I ordered my fish hawk just before they ran out, and I've used it twice this winter. Stats on speed over ground compared to lure speed has become my newest recording category. Can't wait to see what a full year of fishing shows you, Jim. I'm curious to see that. Jason says, be nice to go to sports shows next year. Yeah. Ryan says, good morning. Wishing you all and your families a Merry Christmas. Hi, Ryan. Good to see Ryan Clark. I just hope the northeast wind doesn't blow every weekend on Saginaw Bay. We had a lot of it this year. Dale Roush says, 2020 has been a hallmark year for me personally as an angler. Without a doubt, from all the knowledge I'm gaining from teaching fishing, I have caught more fish this year than any year previous. Meeting new folks, having resources, going to the fishing education weekend, closely following teaching fishing principles, programs, etc. Thank you, everyone, especially Teaching Fishing, for helping me grow as an angler. I'm definitely on the right path. Well, thank you for that, Dale. Very nice. Good. That's good to hear. Mike Martin says some of his best trips are with him, just him and the dog. I wish I could get my dogs to go. Nick Wigglesworth says, got my personal best sturgeon this spring while walleye fishing in the Detroit River. Over 4 feet long, 45-minute fight on 8-pound tests and light action rods. They are fun. That first time you hook up with a sturgeon, especially if you get a good one, it is definitely a good time. Dan says, good morning. Hey, Danny. Dave Markowitz. Good morning, everyone. 2020 was a good fishing year, but sadness, yeah, for those who have suffered. I have to remind myself every day is special and could be the last one. Yeah. Dennis Dolan says, the coffee hour has taught me that the Fishhawk X4 is the best thing since sliced bread. Do you have one, Dennis? Are you using one? I had a nice long talk the other day with Ali Shakur. We talked for about an hour, and we got into this speed at the probe thing. And look, it's something. It's something I've had a Fishhawk X2 for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. And it's something I've never really paid attention to. Every once in a while I would put it down to show people, yeah, there you go. But until I really saw it in play, and until I really started watching what it was telling me and making those adjustments, it wasn't that big of a deal. Now that I actually see what it does, and the days that it changed how I fish, and the days that it made 8 fish days into 20 fish days, and 15 fish days into 40 fish days because of it, how it takes the lulls out, where you catch them, then you stop catching them. You're like, oh, they must have stopped biting. They didn't stop biting. Something changed. And being able to actually see all of that stuff, it's one of those things that I definitely think is a big deal. I've yet to have anybody have a fish hawk who's used it and actually paid attention to it, say that they don't think it's a big deal. Once you use it and you use it right, you'll probably never fish without it. That's why I like the X2, because you can take the X2 with you. It's a portable product, and you can take it to, if you go with a buddy who doesn't have one, you can take it with you. So, whatever. But again, Ali and I, we talked, and one of the things we talk about all the time here is you'll get guys who will kind of scoff at stuff like that. and they scoff at finding fish on your sonar before you fish, and they scoff at, calibrating your lure line counters because, because we live in a place that you can do everything wrong. Lake Erie, Saginaw Bay, Detroit River, Lake St. Clair River, Lake Erie. You can do everything wrong, and there's enough fish you're going to catch some. So what happens is guys get complacent. They do everything wrong. They don't pay attention to details, and they still catch fish. Okay? That's cool. But take what you think you know to a lake that doesn't have the population and go try to catch fish. I'm guarantee you're going to struggle. Try to catch fish on those days when everybody else has got 3. Try to be the guy who catches 10. That's what we're trying to get you to. So in the big scheme of things, does all these little things make a difference? Some days no, because of where we fish. It doesn't matter. And I guess that's good. I just wish that more guys would go challenge themselves in places that aren't Lake Erie, Saginaw Bay, Detroit River, Lake St. Clair River, where there's places that have 1/100th the fish population, and then tell me how great a walleye fishermen they really are. So that's when little things make a big difference, when the bite changes, or you're on a body of water that doesn't have a lot of fish, or the bite gets tough. So that's when these things make a big difference. Doug Ward, 2020 taught me that fishing is so much more than just catching a limit. Fish are just a bonus for the time spent on the boat. Amen, brother. Boy, isn't that nice? Good point. Dennis Peterson says in 2020, he's learned that fish bite twice a day, right before he gets there and right after he leaves. That's funny. Dave Markowitz says, loves this fish hawk. Doug Ward, we don't know what we don't know, is the opening for my engineering machining class every year. Love that line. He says he's learned so much this year. I like that. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right? John Sazalkis, I learned a ton this year and added a fish hawk early in the year. I never knew how much current exists in Lake Erie, even on a calm day. There were 2 days that sold it to me, and it was that one on Saginaw Bay when I had current 7 feet down and 12 feet of water. And then this fall in Lake Erie, when we literally trolled the same direction for 4 miles. And to keep the right speed at the probe, I had the boat speed over ground between 1.4 and 2.7 to keep 2 on the probe going the same direction. We hit multiple pockets of different currents, and man, I'm like, we're going the same way. We should be, once we get it set, if we're going to troll the same direction, it should be the same. It's not the same. So it was a big deal. Arlo says you should have a fish hawk if you don't. He says you should have a fish hawk if you don't. I'm so crazy about it. I carry a backup probe on my boat just in case. And again, I think it's one of those things that once you have it and you learn how to use it and it catches you some fish someday, you're like, okay. There you go. Chris Morales, any good way to get a... Yes. So, Chris, one of the things we talk about is the Fishhawk X2. I don't want to do a Fishhawk commercial because I have one ready to go. But the X2 is a portable unit. The probe, we put a 1 pound or 2 pound ball on the bottom of it. It comes with a 1 pound ball. We've got 2 pound balls here. You can usually find them any place there's salmon fishing. You can find 1 and 2 pound balls. Attach it to the probe. Fishhawk sells a short, stiff fishing rod that'll hold about 5 pounds of weight on the probe. I spool up a inexpensive line counter with 80 to 100 pound braid. Put the probe on that, put it out through the fishing rod, put the probe down. Then the transducer on the X2 does not have to be permanently mounted to your boat. It actually slides on that line that has the probe on it. It goes about 2 to 3 feet under the surface. Then it hardwires into the back of the display. So everything is battery operated. Everything is portable. So now you can get that probe down with that short little fishing rod. You can get it where you want it. I set my rod far enough forward that I can actually see the probe in the sonar cone. So I don't have to worry about the line counter too much. I can see it in the sonar cone. And then that, like I said, that transducer slides down the fishing line, plugs in the back of the display, which is battery operated. Doesn't need to be hard wired into the boat. and you've got a fish hawk working. So I've got a little gear gab coming up on the fish hawk that we'll share with you here probably next week. But yeah, the X2 is a perfect system, Chris, for what you're doing. John says when people learn about the Seiche effect, their fishing will change. It's amazing. It's amazing. Dave Markowitz says fish hawk for me had mostly been speed correction at the lure. I was shocked at times the difference in speed, and that's the big thing, is watching what you think is happening really is not happening. Craig says I practice quality fish management a lot this year. Let them go, let them grow. We need some fish. We need some fish. I love Bobby Green. Bobby Green. If you're not following Bobby Green on Facebook, this dude's lighting them up on Lake Erie. Great fisherman down there. Still running charters. Hardcore dude. Shares a lot of information. If you stop learning, you've stopped progressing. Ain't that the truth? So they're Bobby Green right there. Check him out. Great captain down on Lake Erie. Again, still busting it, still getting out there and still getting at it. Again, he shares information. I see pictures of lure colors, and he's more than happy to help. So, Bobby, thank you for what you do. Good work this year. Just a guy who he just gets at it. Good to have him here. Rock Campbell says, took 2 fishing trips, Minnesota and the UP. The memories are not about fish caught, but about relationships, encouragement, praying for each other. It's funny. Some of the best fishing trips that I've ever had, I couldn't even tell you how many fish we caught. So, John Miniacci. Hi, Minnie. How are you? Our good friend, John. Wow. There's another good guy that you guys need to, I forget sometimes that most of you aren't connected to the fishing world like I am. So I start talking about these people. I'm like, how do you not know? I'm like, well, because they're not in the same world I'm in. But just another one of the great people in the fishing world, John Miniacci. We call him Minnie. Just one of the great people in the fishing world. Really, really, really glad to have him as one of my friends. So appreciate you being here, Minnie. Good to see you, buddy. Merry Christmas to you. Frank. Hey, Frankie. So they started tournament fishing this year, and we had unreal days before a tournament and flop because we settled into where we just caught fish the days before. We spent way too much time fishing yesterday's fish. This year we will not get caught doing that. Pre-fishing is fine, but you have to move when the bite is not there instead of thinking they will bite. So, sometime next year I'm going to do a little thing on tournament fishing, just because Frank hits it right there. So, a couple things I think guys need to understand about tournament fishing. I'm just going to give you a little. That's why I laughed. A little highlight of what we're going to talk about when we do a tournament fishing segment. When you are pre-fishing for a tournament, you are not trying to catch fish, you're trying to put together a pattern. Too many guys go, okay, these fish are here, we can catch them, instead of going, why are these fish in this area, and where can I find a bunch of different areas just like it? And what's affecting these fish? Are these fish here because of the wind? Are they here because of bait? Why are they here? And where can I find other places that are just like it? I remember sitting one time with Gary Parsons talking about tournament fishing, and he made 2 comments that have stuck with me forever. He says, number one, most tournaments, the guy with the most spots win. Very, very few tournaments are won on one spot, especially when you do a 3-day tournament. And I don't consider anything that's less than 2 days a tournament. I consider a 1-day event a derby. Big difference between a derby and a tournament. 2 days to be a tournament. I think 3 days to be a real tournament, because over 3 days, the weather and the fish are going to change. So you'd have to do some pre-fishing. Guy with the most spots usually wins, which means you have to have different spots for different weather, different fish activity levels, and sometimes you can bounce between them. And then the other thing that I think a lot of guys don't pay attention to, and I know guys don't pay attention to it because I watch them come in 4 or 5 days of pre-fishing with full live wells. Another comment he made was you should never know the potential of your best spot until the first day of the tournament. Meaning you get in, you get 1 or 2 fish, you get out. Then you go find a couple more spots with 1 or 2 fish, get out, 1 or 2 fish in another spot. Now you got 5 spots, you go to what you think is your best spot. That's the first day you should take fish out of there, and that's the first day you should know. You should never know in pre-fishing that, man, we got 40 pounds out of that spot today. Because once you get in there and you get 1 8-pounder, 2 8-pounders, you know there's 8-pounders in there, you need to leave. Too many guys treat pre-fishing for a tournament like a fishing trip to stock their freezer. Guys that make a living tournament fishing don't do that. They get in, they get 1 or 2 fish, there's a couple 8-pounders here, gone, we'll figure it out the first day of the tournament. So just a couple little pieces of advice there. Roy Miller says, you know my story about the Walleye 101 rod socks. Yes, he says every time somebody walks by his booth with a Walleye 101 rod and a rod sock, he doesn't even say hi. He knows I got him. Then he says, thank you for your friendship. My pleasure, Roy. It has been, it's been an honor to get to know you and call you a friend. Amazing. Mike says, how do I pay you for a net? Mike, I'll get a hold of you today via email. So I got nets here ready to go. Dan says, is your color scheme for this year's jigging rods the same? Just checking. Yes, exactly the same. Didn't change anything this year. We'll keep everything pretty much the same this year. So good. That was some good, some really good snapshots of 2020. Lots of different varied things there. That's pretty cool. 2020 was a year, right? It was just everybody I think has been tested in some ways. I think everybody's been frustrated in some ways. Everybody has been, again, tested. Everybody's been, pushed to their limit. I think that's true for everybody. So, all right, let's just kind of recap again. Tuesday, tomorrow, there will be a drop of. So here's tomorrow morning. See you later, Johnny. Tomorrow morning, sometime in the morning or early afternoon, you're going to see a new seminar drop, and it's going to be a dig. Remember the speed. I'm going to put a link up here by noon today. We did that subsurface current little workshop a couple Tuesdays ago. I want you to go back and watch that, and I want you to watch the seminar that we drop tomorrow, because it's a deeper dive. It's not quite as long, but it's a little deeper dig into one part of that puzzle. I want you to watch both of those because next Tuesday will be our live Q&A, and I really want to focus on this subsurface current thing. So we're going to talk about it more in January. I really want you to understand how it affects lure speed. Not just lure speed, lure action, and lure depth with unweighted crankbaits, and how it affects lure depth with weighted crankbaits or pulling spinners or spoons behind weight. There's a lot of deep digs into this piece of the puzzle that a lot of guys are missing. So, so tomorrow, that seminar will drop. I'll post a link today to go back and watch the one that dropped, I think 2 Tuesdays ago. Watch that. Watch the new one tomorrow, and then next Tuesday we will do our live Q&A. Next Monday, obviously, again, will be coffee hour. We will talk about your plans for 2021. What do you want to accomplish fishing-wise in 2021? So we'll kind of talk about New Year's resolutions next Tuesday. Teaching Fishing Anglers Club memberships, you need to renew. Everybody's going over. The Teaching Fishing subscription page is going to go away. We're going to take everybody over to the Teaching Fishing Anglers Club page because we have boat stickers for everybody and all that stuff. So we're going to go over to the Teaching Fishing Anglers Club. January 15th, we're going to clear everybody off that hasn't paid. So you'll see a renewal notice coming up pretty quick. I will continue to post those almost on a daily basis. If you haven't got an email, but on January 15th, we're going to clear everybody out of the Teaching Fishing Anglers Club private Facebook page who hasn't paid, and it'll just be for the guys who have paid. Now you can join later if you want, but so get on that. If you were a subscription guy last year or a Teaching Fishing Anglers Club member, I'll post today how to renew for 2021. Get that done because, like I said, January 15th we're gonna clear that right out of there, and away we go. So. And again, the Teaching Fishing, the Foundation series is over there. I'll post that link. Go over there, watch that. Please, guys, please, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, it doesn't cost you anything. It's not included with anything. There's no charge. Just subscribe, please. When we post something, please share with your friends. We need to get that subscription number to 1,000. That's a big deal for lots of different reasons. That's a big deal. So, all right. Okay, I'm going to take just a second here, and I'm going to read you something, and then we'll kind of wrap up today. So this is kind of my message to you today. And it came to pass in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This census first take place in Syria. So all went to be registered, everyone to his own city. Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed wife, who was with child. So it was that while they were there, the days were completed for her to be delivered, and she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. Now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before them. And the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were greatly afraid. Then the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign to you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, laying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." So it was, when the angels had gone away from them into heaven, that the shepherds said to one another, "Let us now go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has come to pass, which the Lord has made known to us." And they came with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe laying in a manger. Now when they had seen him, they made widely known the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all those who heard it marveled at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. Then the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen as it was told them. Then the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord." I can't think of a better way to wrap up our last time before Christmas. Do not be afraid, for unto you a Savior is born.